Hey superstars, Professor Larry again. Today we're going to talk about achieving balance in your life. We hear that all the time. I'm out of balance. I need to find balance in my life. But what does that really mean? Well, if we think about it, we have many different parts of our lives. In fact, there is a great tool that we can use called the Wheel of Life. And it has divided our lives into these different components. The primary one, the first one that we can look at, is our career or our studies. You're all students right now, or at least if you're watching me, you're learning something. And part of our intellectual growth is a big part of our life, as well as our career. Are we moving forward in it? Are we not where we want to be? Or maybe we don't have it at all. Or maybe it's so taxing on us that it's really compromising who we are, what we want to be with the rest of the areas of our life. Another component that we can look at is finance and wealth. How are your finances? What does your bank account look like? How much do you spend? Do you spend way too much like so many people in our world? Our society gives us constant messages to spend and be big consumers, but in reality, purchases and items like that don't bring us happiness. But significant debt can definitely bring us frustration, aggravation, and lots of unhappiness. So that needs to be managed as well. A good way to know if you're really managing your finances is if you know what your bank account is. I know a lot of people go to the ATM, they don't request a receipt, and they don't want to see their balance as they're putting money out. Or they're swiping their charge cards with really no idea how much their current balance is or what their payment's going to be. Hopefully that's not you. Hopefully you are living a debt-free life, a financially free life, a life where you use your finances to empower yourself and to create a great life. We'll get more into that later. Another component is health and fitness, and this is really important for everybody. And it's another thing that our society doesn't do great on. Our health and fitness includes how we eat, what we eat, when we eat, and the exercise that we do. And it's something that we should do through every stage of our life. It's something that I continually work on. I'm not there yet. It's not my best one, but it's something that's always in the forefront of what I try to do and remember to do to keep my balance. Another one that we can look at, another component to look at, is social life and friends. Yes, that's really important. We have to have a social life. We have to have a support group. We have to know that we're loved, and we have to be able to give love to others. We have to have friends. We have to have good times. We have to enjoy people. We have to enjoy the holidays, because if we don't have people, we don't have people to talk to share our emotions with, to share our feelings with, and it can bring depression. I know a lot of people think, oh, I can do this all by myself, and you probably can, but it'll be more joyous and more happy if you share experiences with others. Next component that we can look at is family. Family is very close to social and friends, but it's different. Families are those people that know you the best. And I know that a lot of people have issues with their family, but it's important for all of us that we create the best families that we can so that we know that we have that network of people that we can truly count on. And yeah, families sometimes take a lot of work, but if you want to keep your life in balance, it's important to make sure that those relationships are kept strong. The next component we're going to look at is love. And we need love. A lot of people need love. Love from friends, love from family, love from your significant other. But unfortunately, a lot of people ignore this piece. There's a huge trend of people who are just deciding they don't need to be in love. They don't need romance. They don't need to really have a strong connection with somebody else. But love really does feed our soul. It makes us happier people. Give yourself a chance to have love if you don't have it. And if you're in relationships that aren't loving, you might want to rethink those too, because love really is important. Recreation and fun is just as important too. And sometimes in my own life, I go a little overboard in this one because I really do enjoy recreation and fun. What do you do for fun? It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. It doesn't have to be going to trips across the world. It doesn't have to be anything big. It could just be, like, my favorite thing to do is riding a bike. What do you do for fun? Do you schedule your fun? A lot of people I've met say, I don't have any time for fun. And that's just crazy. We really do need to make our time for fun. And if you have a very busy schedule, plan it. Give yourself that gift, because you'll see how much more happiness you get from life and how much more revived you are and reset to really have the energy to be purposeful for the other things that you do have to do. Contribution. This is something that we forget about, but we need to give back. We need to give back to people. We need to give back to society. How do you contribute? It doesn't have to be through money, but it can be. But it could also be through your works. It could be through kind acts that you do. If you see somebody who might need help with their groceries as they're trying to load it into the car, give them a hand. Sometimes it's just a smile to somebody as you see them walking down the street or in the bus or the subway or wherever. How do you contribute? How do you give back? Because if all you're doing is taking, then you're really not helping the world go around. And there's also the rule of reciprocity, which is what you give out into the universe, you will get tenfold in return. So if you're giving to other people in ways of kindness, of generosity, of resource, of your energy and your time, I guarantee it will come back to you somehow. And you'll be much happier when you help people and much happier when people are there to help you. Personal growth. And this is a big one for all of us. And I think that's why we're in this class together. I think that's why you're watching me. Is because we know we need to grow as people. And that's part of the wheel of life. Which area do we need to look at that we need to address so that we can be the best that we can ever be? And the crazy thing about personal growth is that there's no finish line. We just keep getting better. We evolve. We get better. And remember, we're organisms. So if we don't evolve and get better, we start to decay, die, become bitter. We don't want that. So let's keep moving forward together. Next one is our spiritual growth. It's really important to identify and monitor and take care of our spirituality. Now, I know some of you are saying, oh, I don't like religion. I didn't say religion. I said spirituality. Now, some people do get their spirituality through a religion. And if that's what you do, then that's great. But you need to find how you get your spirituality. How do you connect with the divinity that's all around us? How do you connect with humankind? How do you connect with the spiritual forces that are inside of us? Think about this. A famous French philosopher once said that we are not human beings who have spiritual experiences, but rather we are spiritual beings who are having a human experience. Think about that for a minute. When we are in tune with the spiritual, we are in tune with the true magic in life, and we can see the divinity that's within everybody. That's why many people greet each other with the greeting of Namaste, which means I see the divinity that is within you. Think about that. When we are connected to our spirituality, we're connected more to each other, and we're connected more to happiness and what is most important in this world. The last one that we can look at is our self-image. If you're not happy with your self-image, then change it, no matter what that is. Some people think they have too much weight. Well, do something to lose it. Some people think that they don't like their haircut. Change it. Some people want to be nicer. Then be it. Some people want to be smarter. Go learn something. Identify your self-image. Identify what in you love and what in you you'd rather change. I'm trying to always improve myself inside out, spiritually, in all aspects of the wheel of life. Because that's what we're here for. We're to grow and to change. So look at the components of the wheel of life. Rate each one between 0 and 10. 0 means that it's not working for you and you need to change very quickly. 10 means that you're actually probably spending way too much time on it because it's more than taken care of. When we look at balance in our life, we want them all to be about 7 or 8s. Because here's what happens. If something is a 0, it will eventually start pulling on the other ones. So let's say that your health is at a 0. So you stop going to work because you're too sick, you can't go. You stop going to work, now you can't pay for where you live. And now you're asking friends and family for money or to live with them, and that's now impeding on your relationships. And you can see that the dominoes just start to fall one right after the other when we don't take care of one of the components on the wheel of life. But let's go the other direction. So let's say your work life is a 10 and you're giving 60 plus hours a week and you are doing over and above because you want that promotion and because you want to make the big bucks. But in the meantime, you're neglecting all your relationships. You're neglecting your friendships. You're not enjoying life. And then you wake up and realize life has passed you by, and what'd you do? You just worked. Somebody once told me that nobody on their deathbed ever says, I wish I had worked more hours. Something to think about. But the point is, we do have to work, most of us, so that we can actually pay for our bills and do the things that we need to do so we can afford the things we need to do. But the important message here is balance. Keep things in balance. So your assignment is to look at the components on the wheel of life. So your assignment is to complete your wheel of life. Choose 8 components of the ones I just discussed. Rate them all between 0 and 10. Take a look at them. Figure out which ones need to be addressed. If something is below a 7, how are you going to improve that area of your life? If something is above an 8, what can you do to modify things so that it is still rewarding to you, but it isn't taking from the other areas of your life? So take a look at all the different areas on your wheel of life and make the adjustments you want to. Set goals for yourself and start thinking of things that you need to do to address it. It doesn't have to be everything all in one day. Balance is sometimes achieved slowly, and probably usually best achieved slowly. Now, one more thing about the wheel of life. Sometimes there are areas where we have to give a 10, and that we'll ignore another area to give that area a 10. So let's say it's finals week, and you're giving all of your time to your studies. You're not going to work, you're not talking to your friends or calling them, you're not doing any of that. All you're doing is focusing on school because it's finals week and you need to get your grades, and that's your business at hand. Well, that's perfect because it's just for a short time, and then you readjust after the finals are over. But if you're going something at a 10, if you're going with something at a 10 for too long, it's definitely going to take from the other areas. Anyway, my friends, I hope that the Wheel of Life helps you to identify the areas in your life that you need to improve upon so that you can achieve some balance. Until next time, keep being brilliant.